Good evening, Fernwood. My name's Neil, and thank you for joining me on my trek through the entire series of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. We are heading up to the Thursday, March 18th, 1976 episode, and let's do a little bit of catching up after some tensions between George and Tom with regard to work and the union. Tom has decided to run against George in the election. I don't know if Tom is all that popular at work, so we'll see how that comes out. Steve, that son of a gun, got caught in bed with another woman by Kathy. That's all I have to say there. I think their relationship is done. So I guess we'll see what happens with Kathy next. And then our big plot was that Mary has been talking with and consulting with a sex therapist, or sexpert as I love to call them, who has engaged in a scheme of sorts to help Mary and Tom with their relationship. And that scheme is that Mona McKenzie will pretend to be a high school friend of Mary's and then act as surrogate. Here's something that bothers me a little bit. I guess we'll see if this becomes a plot point. I don't think that Mary understands what a surrogate does at all. And I feel like maybe ethically that should be addressed in a verbal way. I'm not sure that the show would allow for verbalization of what a sex surrogate and surrogate therapy might involve. If you're not sure, basically a sex surrogate is someone who deals with sexual therapies using sexual contact. So if I am misstating that, go ahead and correct me. But if you don't, I will survive. That's all I got for you. So let us begin the March 18th, 1976 episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman! Ooh, so glad I let my agent talk me into that appearance on the Johnny Tilson show. Oh, and then I took a chance and came to Fernwood. I'm her now.
Oh, it's been so long since I have planned a shower. Kathy is just going to be thrilled. Now, we'll have her closest friends and her favorite refreshments.
These are very good. And packaged or refrigerated?
Refrigerator. You crack it open and a little man jumps out.
I never did get to have a shower. Of course, Charlie and me kind of did it, on the spur of the moment. My daddy was fit to be tied. Seems how Charlie was just a couple of years younger than himself.
I think when a girl gets married, for the first time at least, that something special should happen. Don't you?
Why do you keep saying for the first time?
Well, she's never been married before, has she?
Well, no, but when you keep saying for the first time, it just sounds like there are going to be other times.
Oh, Mary, bite your tongue.
Why? You're the one who's... I mean, isn't that ridiculous? Bite your tongue. I mean, why would anyone deliberately bite their own tongues? Even if they're told to. I think that language is half the problem with communicating.
Closest thing I ever came to having a shower was when my mama took this little folded bus ticket in my hand, and she said to me, darling, if you find out that you have made the worst mistake of your life, then you just don't be afraid to come right back home, because we still love you.
Now, Mary, I want you to help me with the phoning. Now, tonight, we are going to have the shower here around 7 o'clock before Kathy and Steve go to Hollywood. I'll do the baking.
Oh, I'll make the coffee and the punch.
And I'll entertain.
I mean, even though this is a last-minute thing, I'm really glad you're doing this. I just think it's really sweet and nice. And not just for Kathy. I mean, for all of us. I mean, it just gives us all a sense of being together and a new beginning. And I just like it, that's all.
Don't anybody talk to me.
Kathy, what's wrong?
I said don't talk to me.
Honey, I'm your mother.
What's that supposed to be, news?
I think she's upset. Kathy, I'm right, honey. No, I'm not. You upset? Are you upset? Yeah,
Oh, darling, what happened? Is it Steve? Something happened with Steve.
I can't stand it. I just can't stand it. I went to his apartment and I found him. I found him.
In bed with another woman?
No, Loretta. Yes, Loretta.
He had his hands all over her. That flat-chested starlet from New York. Oh, God, what did I do to deserve this?
Oh, she didn't do anything to deserve it.
Which of us does?
Well, there goes the shower.
I can't believe it.
Oh, Mary, what are we going to do now?
I think we should freeze the cake. He was always such a quiet boy and so polite.
That's what they said about Davy Jessup, too, and what he did. Go kill 5 people, 2 goats, and 8 chickens.
Yeah, you're right. You know, they always say that after something tragic happens. I mean, it's always those kind of people. It's the people that you would never suspect.
Well, thank goodness Charlie's always loud and laughing and silly acting. Makes you feel kind of safe when you think about it.
I've got to go up to her. Comfort her.
Mom, she said she wanted to be left alone.
Oh, I trusted that boy. I liked him. I even talked your father into liking him.
Mom, she'll get over it.
Oh, no, she won't.
It'll hurt for a while. I mean, it is a shock. We all recognize that. And it will hurt. But the hurt will pass, and she will get over it.
Gosh, Mary, that was so deep. Do you know that sounded exactly like something Dr. Joyce Brothers might say?
She did.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. You know, I watch a lot of psychologists guessing on talk shows, and they really do try to help you while they sell their book.
Well, you sure picked up their ways and their good sense, honey.
Mary, you go up and talk to her.
Me? No. I respect her right to privacy. Besides, what would I say? I mean, really?
I don't know. I'm not another Joyce Brothers like you are. I would just cry and get her upset because I'm upset.
You're not upset, Mom. You just think you're upset.
Oh, no, I'm a failure as a mother. Just look at both of you. In a crisis, I'm a flop.
Oh, Mrs. Shumway, no, you're not. You're a real nice girl.
Oh, no, all I can do is faint. Oh, no, 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 I'm no Donna Reed. Oh, Mary, do you remember Donna Reed on television?
Oh, yeah, of course I do. She always used to clean her kitchen with those nice little kerchiefs tied around her head just to make it look like she was working real hard. And then all her family, they'd come to her with their problems. Of course, they had easy problems. I mean, they'd lose a skate key or be late for the prom, something like that. Do you know, I have been spending my entire married life trying to get my house to look like the house on the Donna Reed show? Of course, that was in black and white, and my house was in color.
Oh, cut it out, you two. What about Kathy?
Ma, you're distraught. Now, just try to settle down and try not to make it a point of escalating this thing into a whole big deal.
There you go again, Mary, using them big words.
Oh, you mean like escalate?
Yeah.
Yeah. I get them from the news. You hear Walter Cronkite talk, and it just kind of creeps into your vocabulary.
How can you be talking about vocabularies when my little girl's heart is broken?
Oh, you know something, Mary, maybe she's right. Maybe she shouldn't be upstairs alone.
If I could just stop crying. Oh, Mary, you go.
But Mom, what can I say? I mean, I've never been in that situation. That's true. I have never been in a situation where I've been turned down. Maybe I was just never popular enough, to get my hopes up like that. You see, all there was in my life was Tom, and I married him, and that was it.
Well, I was hurt a couple of times, but I'll tell you right here and now, the boys was the ones that turned out to be sorry, yes, sir. Was they sorry?
What do you think, Mom? You think I should go up to see her?
Oh, Mary, please, please, you're the only one in this family who is good at communicating.
Did you hear that, Loretta? Do you know that Ma is the third person who said that? She's the third person who said that I have a knack for communicating. I find it very hard to believe. I really do. I mean, you see, like with Tom, I feel like such a complete failure. You know, maybe it's just that, you know, he's too close to me. I don't know. I mean, maybe I really do have to reach out farther afield. What do you think?
Hello, everybody. I'm back.
Oh, Kathy, are you all right? You look all right.
I'm fine, Mother. I watched some TV and there it was. The solution to my whole life.
Was Joyce Brothers and Mike Douglas again?
No, it was an old Audrey Hepburn movie.
You saw Audrey Hepburn in a movie? That's nice.
Yes, and thanks to Audrey, I now know how I'm going to spend the rest of my life.
How?
How was the picture?
What was the picture? What picture on earth could affect the rest of your life?
The nun story. No, I'm not going to join a convent. I couldn't. They only take Catholics.
And virgins, I think.
I only mean that I'm renouncing men, all men. I'm never going to date, flirt, or even look at another one.
Well, you have to look at them. I mean, half the people in the world are men, especially the couples. Well, except...
If anyone has a reason to give him up, it's you, Kathy. I mean, imagine the man you love in bed with a naked actress. Well, I'll tell you, as one entertainer thinking on another, I'm just ashamed to be in the same business, momentarily.
Oh, everything is moving too fast for me. I don't understand how people can behave that way or talk that way.
Let me ask you something. Does she look the same as she looked on television?
Basically, a little thinner.
Thinner? How could they look thinner than they look on television?
Well, I think that they have all their back teeth pulled out. Like and it gives them hollow tricks, you know?
I was so looking forward to the shower and honeymoon postcards and having grandchildren.
What shower? Your mama was planning you a surprise. Well, never mind. I don't want to hear about it. Bridal showers are for brides, and I'm giving up men. They could all drop dead as far as I'm concerned.
Just so long as you're not bitter.
I'm not bitter. I've just found myself.
Oh, that's good. Oh, I was so afraid for you.
Yes, you were so upset. I thought you might hurt yourself or lose your mind or go crazy.
Wait a minute. You mean like Bonnie Hardwick on The Guiding Promise when Brad Thurston ran off with that fashion model that had a brain tumor?
Yes, I saw that. Grandpa was watching it, you know, and he liked the part where she kept forgetting who everybody was and wandering out into traffic.
I usually don't watch those things, but just for the record, Bonnie Hardwick was not the one who went crazy. She was the sister. Bonnie was the sister who had to adopt children because her tubes were tied.
Yeah, you're right. It was Belinda Smythe who went crazy. Is there any more coffee now?
I think so.
Well, I would love to have some more coffee, but frankly, I've just got to be hopping over my own house. You're walking. Oh, yeah, hon, I'm making great progress on the stick horse here. Of course, I really ain't ready for the Olympics yet. Well, I'll see y'all later now. Bye.
I didn't know they had events for people with canes.
I'll get the coffee myself.
Mary, tell your sister she's crazy.
Mother.
Well, Kathy, I don't want you to turn sour on men and become an old maid like my sister Rose. You know how pitiful Rose can be.
I'm not pitiful.
I know, but you shouldn't turn off on a whole sex. That's half the world.
They're all creeps. Every single one of them.
Not true. Some, perhaps. But before you make a decision that could affect your entire future, or even the next couple of weeks, stop and think.
I am thinking. And what I think is that I always get hurt.
Ah, but why?
Because I get involved with men. And they're all basically creeps.
Wrong. It's because your relationships are built on a total lack of understanding of your own worth as a human being.
They are?
Oh, Mary, that sounds like it could have been said by some doctor on Dinah's place.
It was. And it's what I see when I look at Kathy and her relationships with whoever.
Even Steve?
Exactly. You do not encourage people to respect your feelings or your future.
Did you ever think that you could possibly be like, a psychiatrist or a guidance counselor?
Do you really think so?
Yeah, but you still haven't changed my mind about how I feel about anything.
I think that's so much more important, don't you? That people understand the attempt. Even if you don't get any results. Oh, dinner's thawing. The floor will have to wait. Oh, the light bulb in Heather's room. What am I running the water for? This is the Just a second, Ma.
I'm not your mother.
Dennis, what are you doing here?
I was just on my way home from work, and I thought I'd stop by and tell you something.
You're smiling. You're engaged.
How's that?
You and Roberta. I can tell.
Mary, I don't want to talk about Roberta. I want to talk about you,
Me, why?
because I can't stop thinking about you. I want you to look at me right now and tell me you're not just a little bit excited or a little bit happy or a little bit something that I stopped by.
Dennis, I have a dinner to prepare.
Look right at me, close, and tell me that.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Dennis, I have a dinner to prepare. Don't you see, you could have prettier girls and more willing girls and unmarried girls and girls in high school even.
It's you, Mary. No, I don't want to argue about it. It's just you, that's all.
Me.
And I'll wait. I'll wait if I have to until you realize that.
Mary, it worked.
What happened? You look wonderful.
That goes double for me.
Who's that?
Oh, you remember Sergeant Foley?
Do I?
Well, of course you do. He and I were tied up together as hostages for little David Jessup.
Mary, if you want to remember him, you go right ahead. I have forgotten all men.
All men?
You see, I took your advice. About my finding my true worth. I went out and I bought some new clothes and I got my hair done and I went home and I looked at myself in the mirror and I realized that no man that I've ever met is good enough for me.
I hope that doesn't include a man you don't remember meeting.
I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, but what do I do now?
Would you like a suggestion?
Could you stay out of this, Dennis? No man is going to ever come between Kathy and herself again.
I'd like to take you out for dinner.
What?
Well, I do have to eat.
Kathy, I'm really not sure. I'm not sure that she's strong enough to eat yet. I thought you told me you hated men.
Well, Mary, you were the one who told me not to turn off on the whole sex, and you begged me to stop and think. Well, I'm thinking that I'd like to go out to dinner with Sergeant Foley.
No, but Kathy, what about the real you? The real you who doesn't need anyone to tell her what to think. He's nothing.
Well, nevertheless, the girl must eat. Dorothy Parker.
I can't believe what just happened. I could have sworn he said he'd wait.
I feel like Mary is able to regurgitate psychobabble that she hears in TV interviews with psychologists, you know, the equivalent in modern day of maybe Dr. Phil or one of those, sort of TV psychologists. And not that bad advice is necessarily being given by them, but obviously we can see she's not necessarily too distant from the advice that she's giving. I don't know if that makes sense, but in that last scene with Dennis and Kathy, her feelings are well in play in the advice that she gives Kathy in that instance to basically discourage her from going out with Dennis. And she won't tell Dennis what he wants to know, and she tries to push Kathy away because she clearly still has feelings. And boy, is that a complicated story. You can watch all of the rest of this series before this to dig that out. But as far as Kathy turning on men, well, that seems to be the hook of this episode up until the very end. And so I don't really know what's to come with Kathy other than she is seeing Dennis for at least one day. If that goes further, that could be a question for the relationship between Mary and literally everyone else going on into this. Because Mary's emotions are basically where this show revolves. If you didn't pick that up, it's kind of, she's the title character and the whole world revolves around her. That's what I've got for March 18th, 1976's episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Thank you for coming along, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.